Hello, a very good evening and a very warm welcome. You're watching the news on Rupavahini. I'm Nipuni Samadasekara.
A very good evening indeed. Warm welcome to the news live on Rupavahini. I'm Faisal Bongs.
The new 5-storied building of the Defence Services College in Slave Island was vested with the students under the auspices of President Mahinda Rajapaksa today. These buildings are to be used for the classrooms of the primary section of the college. The Defence Services College commenced on 17th January 2007, aiming at avoiding difficulties faced by members of the Tri-Forces and police in admitting their children to schools. This project was launched with the guidance of Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa on the instructions of the President. The President was warmly welcomed by the students of this college at today's event. A scout salute was accorded to the President on the occasion. The President unveiled the plaque and also inspected the upper stories of the building. The 5-storied building of the Defence Services College is fitted with lifts and all modern amenities. The college is situated in an area once used to detain prisoners during the era of imperialism. The college premises had also been used as the governor's residence during British rule. The awards ceremony of this college was held under the auspices of the President, and 60 top students received their awards and certificates from the President. The college, which commenced with 200 students, now has a student population of 1,928. The first volume of the Viru Vidupiyasa news article compiled by the media unit of the college was presented to the President at the occasion, and the website of the college was also launched under the auspices of the President. The college was awarded with the ISO 9001-2008 International Standard Certification for its performance. The certificate was presented to the President and the Principal by the ICS Institute of India. In recognition of the President's visit, memorabilia were presented to the President. Deputy Minister for Education Mohanlal Guerrero, Secretary to the Ministry of Defence and Urban Development Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Chief of Defence Staff General Jagat Jayasuriya, Chiefs of Security Forces, IGP, the Principal of the College Pramodita Vikramasinghe and the staff of the school were also present on the occasion.
And in more local news, today is the 5th day of the 8th National Development Exhibition Data Kerala. According to the organizers of the exhibition, over 1.5 million people had viewed the exhibition up to now. The government has decided to extend the exhibition for 2 more days to facilitate the people's participation. This report has been compiled by Rupavahini correspondent Chaminda Gunaratna. Today is the 5th day of the Data Kerala National Development Exhibition. More than 1 million people have viewed the exhibition during the first 3 days. The exhibition was declared open by President Mahinda Rajapaksa on the 21st of this month, and it is being held from 9 a.m. to 12 midnight each day. Meanwhile, the organizing committee of the exhibition informed that during the weekend, a large crowd turned up at the exhibition premises, and large crowds are arriving at the exhibition premises since early morning.
The government of Sri Lanka has rejected the call by UN High Commissioner of Human Rights, Navanithan Pillai, to establish an international inquiry mechanism against Sri Lanka. The government, in a statement, said that the agenda of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights is prejudicial. The report of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, stating that an international inquiry mechanism against Sri Lanka should be set up, was published yesterday. It is said that the international mechanism is needed to further investigate the alleged violations and monitor any domestic accountability process in Sri Lanka. The government said that the path that has emerged with regard to the recommendations of the High Commissioner reflects the preconceived, politicized and prejudicial agenda which she has relentlessly pursued with regard to Sri Lanka. Hence, the government has also said that it vehemently rejects the report of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. The government further rejected the statement made by the High Commissioner, stating that it gives scant or no regard to the government domestic processes ongoing in Sri Lanka within the framework of the LLRC.
You're watching the news live on Channel I. More local news. We now bring you a special segment in connection with Colombo development. The heavy traffic jam seen in Colombo Kandy Road is a regular scene, and it is an ugly experience for the beauty of Kadawata town. The people had to spend valuable 1.5 hours to pass Kadawata town and to reach their houses and workplaces. However, the government's development plan has been successful in putting a full stop to all these difficulties by laying all the highways via Kadawata. The 29-kilometer long Colombo Outer Circular Road commences connecting Kottava and Kadawata. The Northern Highway, Southern Highway, Colombo Katunayaka Highway and Colombo Kandy Highway are interconnecting at Puakpitia in Kadawata. The construction of the road will be implemented under 3 phases, and the first phase will be from Makumbura inter-exchange to Kaduwela. The length of this road is 11 kilometers. The second phase will be constructed up to Kadawata, and the third phase from Kadawata to Keravalapitia. The construction of the Outer Circular Road commenced under the auspices of President Mahinda Rajapaksa on the 7th of December 2009, consisting of 4 tracks. All in and out roads to Colombo will be connected to this Outer Circular Road. 2 vehicle exchange centres are to be constructed under the first phase of the project. On opening the road, Athrugiriya interchange will be constructed within 1.5 years. The project will be implemented at a cost of 25 billion rupees, and the China Harbour Engineering Company is in charge of this construction. The engineers from China and Japan will serve on this project under the supervision of the Government of Sri Lanka and the Road Development Authority. This will become the largest and the most complicated interchange with the extent of 170,000 square meters of land.
Former Media Coordinating Secretary of the Democratic National Front, Sanjeeva Samarasinha, said that the leader of the party, Sarath Fonseca, has only hatred, vengeance and hunger for power. He made this disclosure at a media briefing held in connection with his leaving the party. Sanjeeva Samarasinha said that Sarath Fonseca is looking for an opportunity to become the president of the country once the government is disabled.
कोई मोहतक हरी खावरुं हो मेरट अस्तावर करपु वेलावකට ඔහුට මේ රටේ විධායක ජනාධිපති ධූරය පුටුවේ කවුරුහරි උස්සන් ගිහලා තියයි කියලා.
Several members of the party, meanwhile, tried to disturb the media briefing to prevent Samarasinha from disclosing the truth. Former Media Coordinating Secretary of the Democratic Party, Sanjeeva Samarasinha, noted that this is the work of supporters of Sarath Fonseca. He added that the country will deteriorate if it goes into the hands of Sarath Fonseca. The former media secretary also said that this action shows the dictatorial attitude of Sarath Fonseca. The former secretary Sanjeeva Samarasinha had to seek the support of the police to continue the media briefing amidst this situation. Former media coordinating secretary of the Democratic Party, Sanjeeva Samarasinha, said that the people of this country should see to it that the country should never go into the hands of a person such as this. While the media briefing was going on, the Democratic Party members scolded the media secretary in filth. Former media coordinating secretary of the Democratic Party said that the statement of the Rave newspaper is true in this regard.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa said that the government is committed to safeguarding the traditional industry and arts for the future generation. He also added that the government has implemented several programs for the welfare of the traditional industrialists. The President pointed out that the welfare programs launched were successful in uplifting their living standards. The President made these observations at the 2014 National Awards Program for Craftsmen organized by the Ministry of Traditional Industries and Small Enterprise Development at the BMICH today. The Ministry of Traditional Industries and Small Enterprise Development organizes the National Awards Program for craftsmen annually. The objective of this initiative is to assess the creations of the handicraftsmen. 334 award-winning craftsmen received awards and merit certificates at this function. The awards include 2 gold and 13 silver awards, and the award winners have been selected from all districts and covering many products. Representing the Central Province, the leading handicraftsman W.D. Jatilaka was awarded by the President, while leading sculptor Ruwan Samantha received awards representing the Southern Province. The artist Roshan Tusita Veerasekara, representing the Uba Province, was also awarded. The chairman of the National Crafts Council, Dr. Buddhi Kirtisena, presented a memento to the President for the service rendered by the government on behalf of handicraftsmen. Speaking on the occasion, President Rajapaksa said that the government has created traditional handicraft villages and has taken action to promote them. Minister H.M. Fauzi, Douglas Devananda, Deputy Minister Veerakumara Dissanayaka and Parliamentarian H.M. Azbar were also present on the occasion.
We now take a look at a special segment on the Ranaviru Real Star program, the reality show for our war heroes.
Ranaviru Real Star Lower Palamu Military
Ranaviru Real Star is the first ever military reality show, and the war heroes having active service of 3 years and disabled war heroes can participate in this program with special training. The program commenced on a concept mooted by the Secretary to the Ministry of Defence and Ministry of Urban Development. The 4th season of this program will be aired on Rupavahini at 9 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. Rupavahini was successful in conducting 3 Ranaviru Real Star program seasons. The operation for the 4th season commenced on the 1st of January and the grand finale is scheduled to be held in July. 32 servicemen and women from the Tri-Forces are contesting for the SMS voting round of Ranaviru Real Star 4th season. Participation of 7 disabled soldiers and 1 Tamil woman soldier are features of this program. The ceremony to introduce them to the media was held under the auspices of the Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa yesterday. The Additional Secretary to the Ministry, Damayanti Jayaratne, Chief of Defence Staff, heads of the Tri-Forces, Director General of Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation Chandrapala Liyanage, Chief of Dialogue Axiata, Dr. Hans Vijayasuriya, the judges of Ranaviru Real Star program and the music director were also present on the occasion.
According to Indian media reports, a protest is being staged in Tamil Nadu region in connection with the attempt to release the killers of Rajiv Gandhi. The Indian media reports also pointed out that the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha Jairam is engaged in communal politics through her efforts to release LTTE terrorists. The Tamil Nadu government is making all the possible attempts to get the release of those 7 assassins imprisoned in Vellore prison. However, the central government has obtained a stay order from the Supreme Court against this move. The whole of India is disturbed due to the decision taken by the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha Jairam to release the terrorists who are responsible for 14 killings, including India's leaders. The central government meanwhile points out that the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister is only working for political gains without taking attention to the threats that the whole of India faces due to the release of these terrorists. The members of Tamil Nadu Congress held processions against the decision taken by the Chief Minister to release the killers of Rajiv Gandhi. The objective of the protesters is to make the Chief Minister Jayalalitha Jairam to reconsider her decision. The chairman of Tamil Nadu Congress, B.S. Ganadesikan, said that the Congress and several organizations in India are protesting against the decision to release Rajiv Gandhi's killers.
Meanwhile, Sri Lanka and South Africa have signed a groundbreaking bilateral air services agreement to enable air services operations by designated airlines of both countries. Sri Lanka's Minister for Irrigation and Water Resources Management, Nimal Siripala de Silva, and South Africa's Minister of Transport, Dipo Peters, signed the bilateral air service agreement on Friday. It is said that this initiative will further strengthen diplomatic relations between the two countries. Sri Lanka is one of the countries from South Asia identified to pursue a review of air services arrangements and negotiations of bilateral air services agreements. A Sri Lankan delegation, led by Minister De Silva, visited South Africa on the 20th and 21st of February. The Sri Lankan delegation's visit to Pretoria enabled the two governments to sign the much-awaited bilateral agreement last week.
You're watching the news live on Channel I, yet with local news, we now bring you yet another election roundup. A public rally to support those contesting under the UPFA for the provincial council elections was held at Homagama town recently. This rally was organised by the Sri Lanka Freedom Party organiser for Colombo district Gamini Tilakasiri. Parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa was the chief guest. And yet another public rally to ensure the victory of those contesting for the Western Provincial Council from the Gampaha district was held under the auspices of Minister Basil Rajapaksa recently. Over 100 UNP stalwarts received their UPFA membership at this rally. And the UNP public rally was held in Mathugama area recently under the patronage of UNP team leader for Kaludra district, Kitsri Kahatapitia. And yet another public rally of the People's United Front was held at Padukka town to create awareness in connection with the current political situation of the country. The leader of the People's United Front, Dinesh Gunawardena, was the chief guest. And the Balamandala meeting of the JVP of the Southern Provincial Council was held at Karandenia recently. And a meeting organised by the UNP was held at Nellore area recently under the patronage of opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Sri Lankan High Commissioner to Australia, Admiral Thisara Samarasinha, has rejected the criticism by the human rights activists that it was inappropriate for a former Sri Lankan military commander to manage the Australian delegation centre on Mel's Island, where Tamil asylum seekers are being held. Speaking to ABC Radio Network of Australia, High Commissioner Samarasinha said that pointing out a person on the basis that he is ex-Sri Lankan military is out of context and is a biased way of trying to bring Sri Lanka into focus. Mr. Dinesh Pereira is an operations manager at the Manus Island Centre. He is not in charge of the centre. He is an Australian citizen who has worked for GFOS for a number of years in other contracts before taking on the role with the Manus Island contract. He is appropriately qualified for his role, and it is our policy not to comment on the ethnicity or race of our employees, the GFOS has said.
According to the Ministry of Health, the number of dengue deaths has come down due to the successful action taken to treat dengue. Several ministries and the police, including the Ministry of Defence and Urban Development, have made an active contribution to the dengue mosquito combat program. This was announced at the summit held at the Information Department, convened to explain the present situation of dengue. The dengue eradication programs were operated under the supervision of the interministerial coordinating committees. 18 dengue deaths were reported last year, while 4,535 dengue cases were identified at the beginning of this year. 10 out of 4,553 have died. And of course, during the first 2 months of last year, the death toll of dengue is 0.28%, while it has dropped to 0.22 this year. The contribution by the people to keep their environment clean is also one of the major reasons for this eradication. The Health Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva appealed to the public to convene and to continue their contribution towards this initiative. Meanwhile, Health Minister Maithripala Sirisena questioned as to whether the responsibility of the dengue combat program lies only with the Ministry of Health. As the Ministry of Health, we have clearly made our contribution towards this program. The minister also said that the dengue death toll has come down within the last 3 years due to the programs launched.
Is the latest on sports. The first Asia Cup match commenced in Bangladesh today. The first match is being played by Sri Lanka and Pakistan. Sri Lanka scored 296 runs for the loss of 6 wickets at the end of their 50 allotted overs. A short while ago, Sri Lanka won the match by 12 runs. Winning the toss, Sri Lanka was elected to bat first. For the second wicket, Lahiri Thirumarana and Kumar Sangakkara established a partnership of 161 runs. Lahara Tirumana recorded his ever second century in a ODI. In 110 balls, he scored 102 runs with 11 fours and 1 6. Kumar Sangakkara scored 67 runs with 8 fours in 65 balls. Angelo Matthews scored 55 not out. In bowling, Umar Gul and Sohail Afridi claimed 2 wickets each.
Takes on the field, Edinitos. That's a magnificent.
Well, that's it on the news. Along with Nipuni and Shamindi, this is Faizar Bonzo thanking you for being with us. We'll have more news for you tomorrow night at the same time. Have a wonderful day tomorrow.